I declare this congregation open. Good afternoon. My name's Anne Taylor. I'm a former graduate of this university and an honorary graduate, and I am now Chair of Council. And it's in that capacity that I have the pleasure of introducing today's events. But may I start by asking you to thank again the wonderful Bhangra Band that have made such a great introduction to this occasion. I don't think we could have got off to a better start, so thank you. It's both a pleasure and an honour to be here, for all of us, I think, on such an important day. Today, we have tremendous pride at the University of Bradford because we will be installing our new Chancellor today, marking the installation of our 6th Chancellor in the history of this university, following in the very distinguished footsteps of Chancellors Harold Wilson, Sir John Harvey-Jones, Sir Trevor Holdsworth, Baroness Lockwood, and of course more recently, sportsman and politician Imran Khan, who stepped down for the post in November 2014. This is an historic moment in what is truly an absolutely landmark year for this university. We celebrate our 50th anniversary, and it is a really important and exciting time in the university's development. Today, we install Kate Swann as our new Chancellor. We're very proud that Kate studied here at the University of Bradford, and she is one of the university's most successful graduates. During Kate's time here, as one of our School of Management students, Prime Minister Harold Wilson was Chancellor, part of his 19-year term. In 1986, the year that Kate graduated, businessman John Harvey-Jones was installed as a new Chancellor. Kate graduated from this university with a Bachelor of Science degree in Business Management, and we understand that she enjoyed her time here as an undergraduate enormously. She may tell us more later. Kate has been very successful in her career, so much so that the university honoured her in 2007 for her achievement in the field of retail marketing, and she has had particular recognition because of her achievements as Chief Executive of W.H. Smith. Kate is currently Chief Executive Officer at SSP, known to many people as the Food Travel Experts. It's an international operator of branded food and beverage outlets, and if you look them up online, you get some very interesting, familiar names. She joined there in September 2013, following 10 years as the Chief Executive Officer of the high street chain that we all know, W.H. Smith. And that resulted in a decade of strong profit, despite the fact that there were very tough economic changes and in the economic climate at that time. Prior to this, Kate was Managing Director of Argos, one of the UK's leading general merchandise retailers. She joined there from Homebase in 2000, where she was promoted to Managing Director from Marketing Director after 3 years with the company. Her retail career began as a graduate trainee at Tesco, and throughout her career, she's had a number of senior marketing roles at some of the United Kingdom's best-known companies, such as Home Pride Foods, Coca-Cola, and Dixon's Group. In 2006, Kate was ranked number 21 in the Financial Times' European Top 25 Women in Business, and Fortune has listed her as one of the 50 most powerful women in business. In 2012, Kate received both the Daily Telegraph Award for a Decade of Excellence in Business at the National Business Awards and the Institute for Turnaround Chairman's Special Award for Exceptional and Extraordinary Performance in the Transformation of W.H. Smith. We have heard what has made Kate, and continues to make Kate, an outstandingly successful businesswoman. And she brings with her a great wealth of experience which will enhance her role in the university's life as an ambassador, both in the United Kingdom and internationally. As our Chancellor, Kate is the formal head of the university, its most senior officer, and her official duties, of course, are to confer degrees on graduates and graduating students and to chair the university court. We look to Kate to support the university as we continue to promote that we are one of the world's great technology universities, making a real difference to our students, to business, and to society more widely. I'm sure that you will agree that Kate epitomises how our graduates go on to do great things. Her determination, her passion is clear for all to see, and she is an inspirational role model for this university, its students and its graduates. And I now call upon Alison Jones, the University Secretary, to read the provisions of the Charter for the governance of the university under a Chancellor.
As provided in Article 6 of the Charter, there shall be a Chancellor of the University who shall be entitled to confer degrees and other academic awards of the University. The Court, at its meeting on the 22nd of April 2015, resolved on the nomination of the Senate and Council, sitting in joint session, that Kate Swann be appointed Chancellor of the University in succession to Imran Khan.
The provisions of this charter, of the Charter having been read to us, it's my privilege as Vice-Chancellor to perform the formal act of installation. On behalf of the University, I do now install you, Kate Swann, as Chancellor of the University of Bradford. We affirm to you, Chancellor, our deep satisfaction at your appointment to our highest office. We are delighted that despite the countless calls upon your energy and time, you have felt able to accept the duties of this appointment. We've noted your career with pride and the public recognition you have deservedly received. We welcome you as our Chancellor. This could not be more appropriate. Chancellor, in assuring you of our constant, loyal and robust support, we ask that at all times you will maintain and defend the rights and privileges of our university.
I, Kate Swann, hereby declare that I will fulfil the office of Chancellor of the University of Bradford and that I will faithfully endeavour to maintain, defend and uphold the privileges and rights of the University of Bradford. Thank you very much.
Thank you all very much. I always feel superbly welcome here. Vice-Chancellor, members of the Council, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, it's an absolute pleasure and privilege to be standing here today, to be in the position where I can gratefully and humbly accept the honour of becoming the Chancellor of the University of Bradford. Now,
In my job, I have many meetings with all sorts of people. I have responsibility for 30 countries in our business and around the 30,000 people that work for us right around the world. And we have many clients, many brand relationships, interested governments, NGOs, and partners in all shapes and sizes, from celebrity chefs to investors who spend billions of pounds, as well as hundreds of millions of customers on a weekly basis. So my PA, Maria, is quite protective of my time and my diary. So when she said to me a little while ago, she'd taken a call from the university, and Brian, the Vice-Chancellor, wanted to come and see me, but he wouldn't say why. I was a little bit surprised, because Maria is extremely adept at eliciting that sort of information. So I assumed it had something to do with my role on the advisory board at the School of Management, and I assumed it was probably bad. Quite often, a lot of the meetings that I have are usually problems or issues, so they're often quite bad. So when Brian came down to see me, and said the council would like to consider me as a potential chancellor of the university, I was more than a little shocked. And it does take a lot to shock me. Variously in my career, I've received marriage proposals whilst doing radio interviews from complete strangers. I've eaten duck's tongues, chicken's feet. I've been smuggled into venues under blankets because there were too many press outside. So I am not easily shocked, but I was seriously shocked this time. So whilst in a state of shock, I immediately reverted to type and assumed the stance of interrogation, assuming there must be some sort of catch in Brian's very generous offer, and all I had to do was find the catch. I'm not quite sure Brian was expecting the interrogation he got in that first meeting, but the idea that I could be a student at the university some 30 years ago and then 30 years later be standing on this stage as its chancellor continues to be, frankly, amazing to me and a really, really remarkable privilege. So I haven't found the catch yet. I look forward enormously to working with Brian and everybody here at Team Bradford, and especially meeting all of the students and sharing with them one of the most joyful days of their lives, graduation. The reality of the role of Chancellor, I think, is it brings with it very little in the shape of power, but quite a bit in the shape of influence. And it has the benefit of not being directly involved in the university on a day-to-day basis, but with a very clear commitment to it. And with that, I think, comes a great perspective, a really clear view from the outside. And I really hope my experience running businesses with plenty of challenges, but loads of potential to develop and to grow, and then to really transform, will be helpful in some small way on the exciting journey that I know Brian and the team have planned for Bradford. The role of Chancellor of the university seems in some ways to me a little like the role of maybe honorary chairman or president in the sorts of businesses that I run. And over the years, I've been lucky enough to work with some absolutely fabulous chairmen and some that in HR speak have development needs. So I am aiming, Brian, not to be in the development needs category in this job for you. You have my full commitment to be a huge supporter of the university, to have great ambitions for the university, to be committed and hardworking, and to show the students of Bradford that armed with their education from Bradford and focus and determination, they can achieve whatever they want to achieve and much, much more, so that they should set their sights high. One of the reasons that I accepted this role is that I passionately believe in Bradford's commitment to making knowledge work, making knowledge make a real difference in today's modern world. I think it's a compelling vision, and it's a vision I found too compelling to say no to, frankly. I'm really, really proud to be part of the Bradford story, and particularly as Bradford celebrates its 50th anniversary this year. Finally, it's especially great for me to be here today as Bradford presents its Global Achievement Awards. The individuals receiving these awards embody all of the qualities that the university holds really dear and are living, breathing examples of making a real difference in the world. And they're fantastic role models for our students. So it is with really great pleasure and honour that I'm delighted to accept the role of Chancellor. Thank you very much.
We now have a planned musical interlude of a slightly different kind. We have two violinists from the Lydian String Quartet who are joining us now. Welcome. Thank you very much to our two outstanding violinists. Thank you very much indeed. We now come to the second part of our celebrations today, and it gives me great pleasure as part of this very special ceremony to introduce you to the Bradford Global Achievement Awards, celebrating 50 years of technology excellence. These awards are unique and are to be awarded only once on this very prestigious year, our 50th anniversary year. The award recipients were nominated by staff from across the university and agreed by Senate and the Council, and will have their awards conferred by our new Chancellor, Kate Swann. Our winners and their work are aligned to our academic themes of advanced healthcare, innovative engineering, and sustainable societies. Through these innovative awards, we celebrate the vision and the values of the University of Bradford by showcasing the achievements of successful individuals who live and work by our values and our ethos. With our winners, we share the pursuit of excellence, we share the ambition and drive to trailblaze, we share a commitment to equality, diversity, and inclusivity, and we share our pioneering spirit. We share a recognised value of being internationally involved and internationally visible. We share the importance, as Kate has said, of making knowledge work. And we share the objective to make an impact, be it on policymakers, society, or business leaders worldwide. The world in the 21st century faces such acute challenges, many unlike it has never seen before. Problems such as ill health, poverty, climate change, energy and water supply, food security, terrorism, all of these are global and complex, requiring for their solution a deeper understanding of science, engineering, and social, political, and cultural behaviour. Universities, and particularly technology universities, are essential to carry out research that will provide the understanding necessary and to teach the next generation of world leaders who will have to grapple with these problems and will have to seek to find solutions. Here at Bradford, our research has long been underpinned by the ethos of applying that knowledge to the real world. And this aspiration drives us to create genuine impact at a local, national, and international level. It's why 3/4 of our research is classified as world-leading or internationally excellent, and why we are in the United Kingdom's top 50 for the quality of our research, research that fulfills our commitment to making a difference. We also work hard to communicate and to share our knowledge with employers and organisations worldwide across the private, public, voluntary and community sectors, something our award winners are equally passionate about. These award winners that we recognise today for truly exceptional individuals are revolutionary in their field, each making significant contributions that result in a difference to the advancement of society. I'm sure you will agree that they are outstanding, positive role models for all of our students, and we look forward to fostering collaborative partnerships with those that we are honouring today so that we can connect our shared aspirations and together make a difference. And I hope you will join me in celebrating their success. And I now invite Professor Shirley Congdon to stay to the stage or to the lectern to introduce the first award recipient, Professor Dame Athene Donald.
Chancellor, it was unanimously resolved by the Senate and the Council of the University to confer a 50th anniversary Bradford Global Achievement Award upon Professor Dame Athene Donald. I'm absolutely delighted to be delivering the oration for Professor Dame Athene Donald, DBE, FRS, eminent physicist and outstanding advocate and role model for women in science. As a technology university committed to equality and diversity, it is absolutely appropriate that in our 50th anniversary year, we recognise Athene's outstanding contributions and impact. Athene has recently described her journey in academia as one of from geek to glamour, and I'm hoping that she may share a little of this journey with us later. Athene is omnipresent in the academic and public arenas, and I have been fascinated to learn about her personal journey in higher education. And in preparing for this oration, I have studied her curriculum vitae, biographies, her copious blogs and tweets, and numerous articles published in international newspapers and journals. And indeed, I have enjoyed watching and listening to the many interviews Athene has given on television and radio, especially listening to the Desert Island Discs in 2009, and more particularly the Life Scientific in 2013. And I would encourage you to search on the BBC iPlayer for Athene's Life Scientific interview with Jim Al-Khalili for a really in-depth account of her work and impact. The reason for Athene's omnipresence is undoubtedly due to her self-declared ability to adapt to new situations and challenges, and her high levels of commitment to her passion, physics. Athene has said, however, that it is important not to dismiss the impact that luck has had on her career. I was quite shocked by this, as I'm sure many may question it. Born in London, Athene developed a passion for physics from the age of 13. As an academically strong student, Athene studied in the cohort above her age group, passing the 11+ a year early. Whilst her parents did not have a university education, it was expected that Athene would and could, and she was set on Cambridge. As well as her passion for physics, Athene was a talented but somewhat modest musician, playing the viola in the London School's orchestra. I could say much more, but time doesn't allow. But she has taken great pleasure from music throughout her life. Athene studied at Girton College, Cambridge, where she was awarded her first degree in natural sciences, theoretical physics, and a PhD entitled Electron Microscopy of Grain-Bounded Embrittled Systems. She might also want to say a little bit about that later. After 4 years of postdoctoral experience at Cornell University, Athene returned to Cambridge, and she was part of the first generation of research fellows. Athene has been at the Cavendish Laboratory at Cambridge since 1983 and became the first professor of experimental science at Cambridge in 1988. Indeed, she was the first female professor of any physical science at Cambridge. Quite an achievement. Athene's research sits within the biological and soft systems and focuses on using the idea of soft matter physics to study a wide range of systems of synthetic and biological origin. And a key theme in her work has been the different sorts of microscopy and exploring the structure-property relationships. However, the kinds of samples she's explored have varied from synthetic polymers, food biopolymers, and more recently, cell lines. She's published over 300 papers in these fields. Now, Athene's decision to apply the strict rules of physics to biology was not always well received. Athene has been described by Professor Alison Smith as being instrumental in making physics much more relevant to biology. In doing so, she had to persevere working in what was a deeply, deeply unfashionable area and one dominated by men. She's described Professor Brian Pippard, formerly head of the Cavendish Laboratory, as saying, "Things have come to a sad pass when people at the Cavendish study starch." Her determination won through, and today many physicists work in this field with physics with biological. Now, Athene has been awarded many prizes, too many to detail today. Some of note, however, for the Institute of Physics was the Charles Vernon Boys Prize, the Mott Medal, and the Faraday Medal, and she was the Becarian Lecturer of the Royal Society in 2006. Athene was importantly elected a Fellow of the Royal Society in 1999, and she hopes to see more women being put forward for Royal Society membership, but acknowledges this may take some time. The pipeline isn't particularly strong at the moment. She was appointed a Dame Commander of the British Empire for services to physics in 2010 and holds honorary doctorates from the Universities of East Anglia, Exeter, Sheffield, Swansea, Manchester and University College London. Athene took up the role of the Master of Churchill College in 2014, and understandably she is known to have said that she had no intention of becoming the mistress of the college. She has chaired many key committees at Cambridge and beyond, and she is a member of the Scientific Council of the European Research Council, a trustee of the Science Museum. Athene was at Bradford here last year, speaking at the British Science Festival in her role as president of the British Science Association, taking over from Sir Paul Nurse, who is also with us today. She focused her speech on gender stereotypes, and I've been instructed not to say too much, but I do understand at this event she introduced the Vice-Chancellor to the fact that pink is indeed has not always been associated with girls. Her work in equality and diversity is focused on encouraging and promoting women's participation in science, technology, engineering, mathematics and medicine. And being the first female professor of any physical science at Cambridge has brought challenges associated with being a woman in a male-dominated world. And this contributed to her taking the issue of women in science on. Athene feels strongly that there is unconscious bias at play in many parts of higher education, and has recently, very, very recently, urged academic institutions again not to assume that they are exempt. This passion for diversity led her to taking on a number of significant roles, including the director of the Cambridge Women in Science, Engineering and Technology Initiative at Cambridge, the university's Gender Equality Champion, and member of the University Equality and Diversity Committee, and chair of the University Gender Equality Group. Athene has been recognised for this important work in equality and diversity, and in 2009 she was awarded the L'Oréal UNESCO Women in Science Laureate in Europe. For 2011, she received one of the UK Research Council's Women of Outstanding Achievement Awards, and in 2013 won an MRC Suffrage Science Award. So to conclude, I'm sure you will agree with me that Athene is an outstanding woman, physicist and inspirational role model who through her leadership and scientific prowess has made an outstanding contribution to science and to the better representation and progress of women in science, technology, engineering, mathematics and medicine. Chancellor, I am honoured and delighted to present to you for a University of Bradford Global Achievement Award, Professor Dame Athene Donald.
By the authority vested in me, I'm absolutely delighted to award you a Bradford 50th Anniversary Global Achievement Award. Well done. Congratulations.
Chancellor, it was unanimously resolved by the Senate and the Council of the University to confer the 50th Anniversary Bradford Global Achievement Award upon Dame Ellen MacArthur. It's a pleasure and a great honour to present this oration for Dame Ellen MacArthur, record-breaking round-the-world yachtswoman and the founder of the Ellen MacArthur Foundation, which she established to develop her vision of a circular economy. I hope that recognising Ellen's achievements with this award will inspire us all to see the possibility for change in a time when we need to be rethinking our collective future. Ellen has a strong connection with Bradford. Unfortunately, she can't be here tonight. She's in Vancouver. Her mother and grandmother were born here, although sadly she missed out on this particular honour and was brought up in Derbyshire. Ellen became fascinated by sailing from an early age and recounts how whilst at primary school, she would often skip school meals to save up for her first boat at the age of 4. She had ambitions to go to university and study to become a vet, but was struck down by glandular fever during her A-levels and ended up following a different path. Ellen made yachting history in 2005 when she became the youngest and fastest solo circuit to circumnavigate the globe at the age of 24. She remains the UK's most successful offshore sailing racer ever. She received the French Legion of Honour from President Sarkozy in 2008, 3 years after having been knighted by the Queen. Her experiences of being in a boat 3,000 miles from land with just enough power, and just enough food, and just enough resources to complete the trip had a profound impact and impression on Ellen and made her acutely aware of the finite nature of the resources that we all rely on. This became such a passion that Ellen gave up competitive sailing in 2008. And then she spent the next 2 years researching, talking to scientists, academics, business leaders, about the ideas that led her to the formation of her vision of a circular economy as opposed to a linear economy. And this led to her setting up her own foundation, the Ellen MacArthur Foundation, in 2010. The foundation now has a staff of 70 working on research, education, policy, business, which has received accolades at the World Economic Forum and has been instrumental in shaping recent European policy. In 2015, Ellen became a full member of the Club of Rome, an association of independent leading personalities from politics, business, and science who are long-term thinkers interested in contributing in a systemic way to a better world. Ellen continues to devote considerable time to the Ellen MacArthur Foundation Cancer Charity to provide young people with cancer the opportunity to experience the pleasure and thrill of ocean sailing. The university has worked with Ellen and the foundation since 2009, which has led to our being named as the world's first pioneer university for the circular economy in 2015. Ellen has shown what can be achieved in a short period of time when you have clarity of purpose, passion, and most importantly, an ability to go without school dinners. Chancellor, for her dynamic and inspirational contribution to addressing some of the key 21st century societal challenges, I have great pleasure in presenting to you for a Bradford Global Achievement Award, Dame Ellen MacArthur.
By the authority vested in me, I'm very pleased to award Dame Ellen MacArthur a Bradford 50th Anniversary Global Achievement Award.
Chancellor, it was unanimously resolved by the Senate and the Council of the University to confer a 50th Anniversary Bradford Global Achievement Award upon Sir Paul Nurse. It gives me enormous pleasure to deliver the oration for Sir Paul Nurse, a geneticist and cell biologist who has received worldwide recognition and awards for his work on cell biology and cancer research, including receiving a knighthood in 1999. His discoveries have helped to explain how the cell controls its cycle of growth and division. Sir Paul is an exemplar scientist, researcher, and academic, who, through his work, seeks to address the challenges of the 21st century. This is exactly what the University of Bradford strives to do through its research, learning, and teaching, and is why I am so pleased to be presenting him for this special Bradford Global Achievement Award. As previously mentioned by Baroness Taylor, these awards recognise truly exceptional people who are revolutionaries in their field and achieve greatness through understanding how to use information to tackle the challenges that we face today. In honouring Paul with this award, I hope we showcase and recognise his achievements and inspire our current students, future graduates and colleagues to strive for such excellence in their pursuit and understanding of knowledge and the application thereof. Sir Paul came from humble beginnings. He was educated at Lyon Park School in Alperton and Harrow County Grammar School. His undergraduate applications were rejected by the universities of Oxford, Cambridge, Sussex, and York because he did not possess the required foreign language GCE. His determination and tenacity was rewarded when he was offered a place at the University of Birmingham on the condition that he take French classes in his first year. He received his BSc in biology in 1970 from the University of Birmingham and his PhD in 1973 from the University of East Anglia, and then commenced his career as a postdoctoral researcher at the University of Edinburgh. So, let us take a moment to reflect on some of his achievements. Paul was jointly awarded the Nobel Prize for Physiology or Medicine. That doesn't mean they didn't know which. Okay, that's the name of the prize. In 2001, for discoveries of key regulators of the cell cycle. Together with Hartwell and Hunt, he discovered two proteins, cyclin and cyclin-dependent kinase, known as CDK, that control the transition from one stage to another and are called checkpoints. In 1987, with his postdoctoral researcher Melanie Lee, he identified the corresponding gene in humans, CDKI. This pioneering work opened the way to a greater understanding of cell production and the mechanisms behind cancer and other serious diseases. Sir Paul has received the Royal Society's most prestigious award, the Copley Medal, which has been awarded to many notable scientists. So he joins alumni of Benjamin Franklin, Albert Einstein, and Charles Darwin, distinguished company. He has also received the Albert Lasker Award in 1998 and the Légion d'honneur in 2003. He has served as President of the Royal Society, Chief Executive of Cancer Research UK, and President of Rockefeller University. Sir Paul is Director of the Francis Crick Institute in London, a new biomedical research institute with a commitment to excellence and emphasis on multidisciplinary research. The institute aspires to be one of the world's leading medical research institutes with the highest quality science delivered through a focus on the best and most imaginative scientists. And with the scientists of Paul standing as director, I am sure the institute's aspirations will be achieved. These values and aspirations of excellence are echoed strongly here at Bradford, with a desire to cement our position as a world-leading technology institute, conducting cutting-edge research and knowledge transfer, while putting students at the very heart of learning. Paul speaks passionately about the need to focus on young and emerging talent in science and research. He believes scientists need to expand across specialities and have a responsibility to speak out about science in public affairs, challenging politicians who support policies based on, at best, pseudoscience. He is truly an inspiration to young and developing scientists and researchers, and continues to champion STEM, that is science, technology, engineering and mathematics, across the world. Chancellor, for his long-standing contribution to science, I have great pleasure in presenting to you for a Bradford Global Achievement Award, Sir Paul Nurse.
You sound fantastic.
Thank you.
By the authority vested in me, I'm absolutely thrilled to present you with a Bradford 50th Anniversary Global Achievement Award.
Chancellor, it was unanimously resolved by the Senate and Council of the University to confer a 50th Anniversary Bradford Global Achievement Award upon Professor Amartya Sen, an economist and philosopher of outstanding distinction. 50 years ago, when the University of Bradford received its Royal Charter, Professor Amartya Sen was challenging the orthodox understanding of collective decisions and their impact on the welfare and well-being of people in society. By 1966, a book based on his PhD thesis, called Choice of Techniques, was already in its second edition. Amartya was born in Shantiniketan, India, in 1933 and studied in Dhaka and Calcutta before going on to Trinity College, Cambridge, where he was awarded a PhD in 1959. This launched an exceptional academic career. He has held professorial appointments at the Delhi School of Economics, the London School of Economics in the 70s, at Oxford University as Drummond Professor of Political Economy in the 80s, and at Harvard University in the 90s, before returning to Trinity College as Master from 1998 to 2003. He became president of the Development Studies Association in 1980, the Econometric Society in 1984, the American Economic Association in 1994, and was the honorary president of Oxfam from 2000 to 2002. It would take a long time to go through the list of all the awards and honors Professor Sen has received, but here are just a few. The Mahala Nobis Prize, Légion d'honneur, United Nations Lifetime Achievement Award, and the National Humanities Medal of the USA. For his work on welfare economics, and in particular on advancing our understanding of poverty and famines, Amartya received the 1998 Nobel Memorial Prize in Economics. Amartya Sen's work encompasses a wide range of profound challenges and problems of development. His work on inequality, including his 1979 Tanner Lecture on Human Values, probes deeply into the causes of economic inequality through books and seminal papers. These argue that if we are really concerned about inequality, then an appropriate measure would be to focus on the functioning and capabilities a person can achieve, rather than just on their income. Throughout his work, Amartya's passion and commitment to equality, especially gender equality, justice and freedoms, stand out very clearly. He is a brave and outspoken champion of democracy, arguing passionately through his lectures and papers that the demands of democracy and liberty should be universal and should not be subject to dilution on cultural or other grounds. Professor Sen challenges conventional thinking from the perspectives of fairness and honesty. His work on famines shows that they are a product of failure of distributive institutions and entitlements, rather than the lack of rainfall or crop failure. In the case of the Bengal famine of 1943, Sen showed that it was preceded by a bumper harvest. It is not surprising that as a philosopher, Amartya has been concerned with notions of justice, collecting his ideas together in The Idea of Justice, published in 2009. With his excellent knowledge of Sanskrit, Amartya is able to explain concepts from Indian philosophy and history, such as niti and nyaha, to his readers. In the argumentative Indian, he shows that pluralism and deliberation have been central to Indian society throughout the millennia. His contribution to the nation was recognized in 1999 with India's highest award, Bharat Ratna. Amartya's commitment to democracy, freedom, and rationality resonate very strongly with the values of the University of Bradford. He continues to be an inspiration to both academics and students across the university, but especially to those in our Faculty of Social Sciences, where both development studies and peace studies have been important fields for more than 4 decades, gaining Bradford a strong international reputation. In honouring Amartya, a formidable academic thinker whose ideas are making a difference in societies across the world, we are reflecting the university's own aspirations. Chancellor, for his outstanding contribution to the ideas of justice, equality, and freedom, I have the immense pleasure of presenting to you for the Global Achievement Award, Professor Amartya Sen.
By the authority vested in me, I'm very pleased to award Professor Amartya Sen a Bradford 50th Anniversary Global Achievement Award.
Chancellor, Bradford 50th Anniversary Global Achievement Award winners, distinguished guests, friends, colleagues. Let me add my welcome to all of you, to the launch of the University of Bradford's 50th anniversary, to the installation of our new Chancellor, and to the presentation of our 50th Anniversary Global Achievement Awards. The philosopher Søren Kierkegaard said the following: "Life can only be understood looking backwards, but it can only be lived looking forwards." The University of Bradford's 50th anniversary is a time to look backwards and learn from the great achievements of the past. But it's also a time to look ahead, to innovate, to dream, and to strive to excel. When we think of the 1960s, we think of the Beatles and the Rolling Stones, hippies, flower power, and LSD, the contraceptive pill, the summer of love, the rise of consumerism, the civil rights movement, the white heat of technology. But the 1960s was a precarious decade. Devastation from World War II was still a bitter legacy for millions of people. The atomic bomb and the Cuban Missile Crisis showed humankind's capacity for self-destruction on a global scale. The Cold War, with its fear and suspicion, was a constant companion. Here in the UK, Harold Wilson became Prime Minister, ending the famous 13 years of Tory rule. Britain applied twice to join Europe. General de Gaulle twice said non. The Beeching Report closed 2,000 railway stations. John Profumo resigned from the government for lying in Parliament. The average cost of a house was £3,000. A pint of beer cost 8 pence. Footballers were paid a maximum of £20 a week. England won, not a second. England won the World Cup, and the only chef on TV was Fanny Craddock. In the USA, Martin Luther King made his famous "I Have a Dream" speech in Washington, D.C. John F. Kennedy was shot dead in Dallas, followed a few years later by his brother Robert and Dr. King himself. Amid this age of uncertainty, how great a dream was it to create new universities, to transform lives and foster a new world. There was a fierce belief, wonderful and admirable, that education would civilize society and prevent further world wars, that science and technology would transform economies and provide wealth for all, that never again would the world teeter on the edge of self-destruction. The University of Bradford was born in 1966 out of a fundamental belief that higher education should, according to the Robbins Report, I quote, be available to all those sufficiently qualified. I want to pay tribute now to all those who helped create the University of Bradford. Our first Chancellor, Harold Wilson, our first Vice-Chancellor, Ted Edwards, civic leaders such as Harry Richardson, Revis Barber and Charles Moore. All the citizens of Bradford determined that this great city should have a university. All our academics creating great courses and doing great research. The architects who built a beautiful campus. The administrators who designed our policies and procedures. And all our students, of course, who came here to enrich their lives and have gone on to build wonderful careers. The university was inaugurated on the 27th of April 1966 with a service in Bradford Cathedral, followed by a procession of university and civic dignitaries to St. George's Hall, I quote, with trumpeters. Pro-Vice-Chancellor Robert McKinley said, "The Bradford Institute went out with a whimper, but Bradford University came in with a bang." 2,000 students came to Bradford in 1966. They were amazed to see sheep and cattle grazing in countryside a quarter of a mile from the town hall, just next to Bradford's famous dark satanic mills. Today, we have 13,000 students at Bradford, and another 5,000 taking Bradford degrees in Singapore, Delhi, Shanghai, Dubai, and many other places all around the world. We have 120,000 alumni from 170 countries. We have just been named one of the most international universities in the world. We have indeed come in and have indeed continued with a bang. But the University of Bradford is not just any university. In 1963, Harold Wilson delivered one of the most famous speeches of the 20th century. His White Heat of Technology speech extolled higher education, research, science, technology, and innovation as the key drivers of economic growth. Bradford is one of Britain's first technology universities, set up to fulfill this vision. Ted Edwards defined technology broadly, insisting, right from the beginning, it was the use, I quote, the use of knowledge to improve society. I have said nothing but since I came to Bradford. Wilson, of course, became our first Chancellor and guided the university from its beginning in 1966 to what we are now, a world-leading technology university. During 19 years as Chancellor, Lord Wilson conferred over 21,000 degrees. There's an aspiration, Kate. Despite being Prime Minister, he attended all our major functions. Later this year, as part of our 50th anniversary celebrations, we are inaugurating the Harold Wilson Lecture in his honour. How incredibly visionary was Wilson's concept of Bradford as a technology university. The world economy has changed dramatically since the 1960s. There is now a global market in information and technology. Economic success depends on the exploitation of knowledge. Universities are no longer, as they were then, ivory towers for abstract teaching and pure research. We play a direct role as creators of wealth and as motors for economic and social change. The world student population has grown massively to over 100 million people and is growing at 6% per annum. The world market for research is something in the range of $1 to $2 trillion, also growing at 6% per annum. There are now over 40,000 universities worldwide, most created in the last 20 years, most technology universities, and the number growing rapidly. Every city wants the economic drive of a successful university, and every person wants the advantage of a university education. And as Baroness Taylor said, the world is facing global and systemic challenges unlike any seen before. She itemized them. And it's universities and technology universities which are doing the underlying research to understand these problems and are teaching the next generation of world leaders who must find the solutions. Creating wealth, developing people's lives, solving the world's problems. This is what technology universities were invented for. Wilson's great vision has truly found its place now in the 21st century. Last year, we launched our new university strategy for the 21st century. We have reaffirmed Bradford as a world-leading, research-intensive, international technology university, doing great research, doing great teaching, and in particular, as has been said several times already, making a great difference to society. Truly making knowledge work. We have fulfilled Wilson's vision in spades, and we intend to keep on doing so. Think of Bradford's innovative spirit in the 1960s and beyond, and think of the power of carrying it forward to the rest of the 21st century. In the 1960s, we set up the first ever business school in the UK, which has populated executive teams in multinational businesses worldwide. Our new Chancellor is a fantastic example. We founded the first ever peace studies department in the world, which has helped deliver peace and stability in many countries. We've developed drugs to prevent cancer. We've promoted chemical and biochemical disarmament, and our engineering and healthcare products have saved lives and generated wealth worldwide. Just today, together with the Chancellor and Professor Downes, the head of our Dementia Studies Unit, I have received from the Queen, I have not received from the Queen, I have received from Prince Charles. I was hoping to receive from the Queen, but I received from Prince Charles the highest recognition that a university can achieve, a Queen's Award for our world-leading work to improve the lives of people living with dementia. One of Bradford's most famous sons, J.B. Priestley, opened our library named after him in 1975. He said the following: "I have always been delighted at the prospect of a new day, with a bit of magic waiting somewhere in the morning." And that brings me to the crux of what I want to say in celebrating our 50 years and looking forward to the next 50 years. Every year, 5,000 or so graduates leave this university to pursue their careers and change the world. Since 1966, as I said, we have inspired 120,000 graduates to cross continents and take on every imaginable job and profession. A fantastic power for good, delivering the vision of our founders. The narrative that connects the University of Bradford in 1966 to the University of Bradford in 2016, and for the next 50 years to 2066, and indeed beyond, is an abiding belief that education transforms lives and societies. Our celebrations in Bradford, in London, in Beijing, in Singapore, in Dubai, in Addis Ababa, and in all the other major cities in the world will showcase our past and our future impact and success, bringing, as J.B. Priestley said, a little magic to the world every morning. We believe in the words of the Harvard essayist Ralph Waldo Emerson. Do not go where the path leads, go where there is no path and leave a trail. I began by mentioning Dr. Martin Luther King, and I will end with a quotation from his famous speech. We cannot walk alone. As we walk, we must make the pledge that we shall always march ahead. We cannot turn back. Thank you for your attention. Enjoy your dinner tonight, and enjoy the next exciting 50 years of the University of Bradford. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Brian, and I now declare this congregation closed.